What's up guys, Chasing Lane here with episode number 60 of Robin's Revival, and today it is yet another end of season transfer special, so strap yourselves in, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Let's roll the intro. There's a lot of movement, so prepare to say goodbye to some people. So before we get into saying goodbye and saying hello to all those good players, let's give you a little bit of a teaser. So I have spent around 66-70 million and I've brought in about 36. So that gives you an idea of the scope of what we're dealing with here. So without any further ado, it is time to go and say goodbye to some folk first and foremost. So lots of players left for money. The first one out the door though was Francisco Elias, who was not developing as I hoped. I sold him to Vasco da Gama for 60k. He's played a few games with them already, and yeah, he was never really going to make it, I don't think. I mean, he barely managed a 6.9 in the conference last season. He's been with us now for 2-3 years. It just didn't feel like he was ever going to get there, so I just decided to, let him loose, and I made some money, so I can't complain. I also sold D or Die, we could never work out his name. I saved myself that dilemma. I again decided he was probably not going to make it. He's gone to whoever ATP are in Brazil. 350k for a guy that I got for nothing is no complaints again. I know same sort of player as Elias, but again the same sort of potential ceiling. And I didn't think it was the Premier League, so time to send him home. After a year at the club, Jairo Riedewald has moved on to America. I don't know which America it is. Is it America? It's the Mexican one. There you go. We've lost 1.7 million on him, so, maybe not the best piece of transfer business, but he's knocking on a bit. I didn't really think he had another year in the Premier League. He felt like he was becoming a championship player, and we feel like we're establishing ourselves as a Premier League club. So we've let him go and saved some money on wages as well, which is always a good look. We're also sadly saying goodbye to a youth teamer. Pablo Appleton has been with us for quite some time. He was in, I think, our second or third youth intake. And he always looked like he could be a decent player for us, but once we got to the Championship, it sort of like that was his level. He played one game in the Premier League for us, so at least he can say that. But he's had a couple of loans out in the conference, and he's gone to Brighton for 1.3 million, who seem to think they can make him a Premier League player. They've paid us 1.3 with add-ons and things that could rise to 1.5, but there is, I think, a percentage next sale in there, a bunch of other stuff. Sad to see him go, because I wanted to develop him, but it didn't feel like he was going to become a Premier League player. Brighton obviously feel differently, so, best of luck to him, but he's going to be someone maybe we come up against this season, and we'll see how that goes. Next, the player I don't think I mentioned signing is Hankook Jin, a North Korean under-23 international. I picked him up just because I thought, North Korean player, that'd be funny. I signed him for free. I sold him for 6.75k to Lincoln, and they seem to think he's got a future there. I mean, he did look like he had some potential for sort of League One, I'll be honest. But, he was a signing for shits and gigs, really, and he's gone. So we'll see if we come up against him again. Who knows? Maybe we've found North Korea's first big global star. Completing our sale of the oldies, though, is Florian Grillage going to Dynamo Moscow. He's 33, didn't really have much more to offer this season, I didn't think. I got 2.6 million for him, and I bought him for free after a year. That is strong numbers. He actually didn't look bad when he played for us. I can't give him too much of a hard time. He genuinely was good for us for a 33-year-old, but it was now or never to make money on him. So I chose now. Another player I thought would do more for us than he did was Shaq Moore. I signed him a year ago, you'll remember, from Lille for nothing. And I've just sold him to Saint Etienne for 7.25 million after making 22 appearances. Ironically, he had the same record for us as he did for Lille, right down to the average rating. There you go, that's a fun fact for you, but yeah, again, 31. He hadn't really become the first team right back for us that I thought he would. He couldn't really dispose of Glenn Gould, who was in better form all season. And then once we brought in Bellerin, it was kind of all over for him. But, we made some money again, and we like making money. Now, another loss I took was selling on Ryan Longman to Braga. I paid 1.6 million for him. In fact, over the time I had him on loan, I actually paid about 2.25 million for him. But we'll forget about that. I sold him to Braga in Portugal for 875k. I thought he was going to be on the fringes this season. He was kind of on the fringes last season. He was probably on his outs when I signed him, but when I loaned him, I'd agreed to sign him. So I kind of had to. But we'll see what comes of him. Maybe he'll come back to England again. Maybe he won't, but he certainly won't be coming back to us. I think his time as good enough for this level has passed, really. I rarely show the players I let go for free, but Levi Colwell was one of them. We brought him in. It was kind of an even deal, really. We brought him in for free. We got 155k for loaning him to Cardiff. He didn't want to sign a new contract, and New York Red Bulls have taken him off us on a free. And frankly, he's not doing great in the MLS. He didn't have outstanding times in the Championship, so maybe he just was never going to be a Premier League player. Another player I spun a quick profit on, though, was Tommy Doyle, who I paid nothing for in January, and I just sold him for 1.8 million, never made an appearance for the club, always a bit of an outsider, and frankly, he was kind of signed for depth, and I don't need the depth anymore, so goodbye to Tommy Doyle. Perhaps a big surprise, though, was the sale of Jez Walsh, who was a youth teamer that apparently had some potential. I didn't see it. I've got a lot of depth in the positions he can play. And so I sold him to Aston Villa, and they have paid me 8.25 million for him, but it could rise to 11. He's played a season in the Championship and a season in the Conference North. Maybe I was wrong about him, but, I will take that gamble because I don't think he's going to become a Premier League player. I certainly don't think he'd be good enough to get into our first team by the time he was good enough for our first team. So, good luck to him joining Villa. Maybe we'll bring him back later on if he turns into a worldie, but I don't think we will. I don't think we're going to see him back in Swindon colours again. I certainly don't think he's going to become a threat to us down the line. Continuing our Brazilian clear-out, though, Ney has gone to Botafogo Rio, I believe that is, for 450k. Another player I signed on a free about 4 years ago, 3-4 years ago now. And he had a season out on loan, and a bunch of other seasons out on loan at Doncaster, Lincoln, and Sheffield Wednesday in the Championship last season. Did alright, actually, in the Championship. But, again, didn't think he was going to step up and be a Premier League player. Maybe he'll prove me wrong down the line, but he certainly wasn't the player for now. And I don't think he's going to be the player down the line. And our final big sale of note is Ramall Palmer, who has had a couple of great seasons for us. In the Championship, he was kind of ever-present, really good signing. And then when we got to the Premier League, I had a look at him and I thought, I don't think he can do it. So I loaned him out to Ipswich for a year. They gave me 61k. He played another 34 games and had another good season in the Championship. And now Borough have just paid us 4.9 million for a player I spent 275k on. Big profit, big turnaround, and he's going to have a good couple more seasons, I think, in the Championship before he sort of starts slipping back down the leagues. He's 29, so he's probably got this last big contract in the Championship in him, and then it's time to start thinking about winding things up, I suspect, for Ramall Palmer. But let's have a look at who has come in, because those are the far bigger questions, and you guys are probably quite excited to see them. And the summer spree, ironically, actually started with this guy, Lucas Solari. He's an Australian international, can play on both wings as an attacking midfielder and as a central midfielder. He has come in from Adelaide United. He looks like a really strong, really high potential player. And the great news is I got him on a free. I signed him on a free, and he's currently valued between 28 and 39 million, which is disgusting. So we're going to see how he does for us. I'm going to try and send him on loan this season, I think, because he's not really in the running for a starting berth yet. But season in the Championship maybe, and we'll see how he turns out. And on the other end of the scale, our first really big signing is Arlin Page. I think that's how you would pronounce his name. He is a French under-21 international, valued at 74 to 84 million, having signed him. He has joined us from Lyon. And I spent £22 million on him. I've never spent £22 million on a player. He became our record signing. There are no real add-ons involved, which is beautiful. and he's played a couple of games in League 1, but I think he's probably our best centre-half, or at least our second best centre-half, which is always a strong look, and I like that for the guy. Another big signing was 19-year-old Dutch under-21 international Gerson Fair. He is a left-back valued at 34 to 50 million. I've signed him from Herenveen, and he's just cost me the princely sum of £10 million, but great physicals. Looks like he's got a decent first touch developing, good determination to really come into his own, and long-term really predicted to be a strong player. So we're going to try and convert him into a much more natural left-back because we don't use a left wing-back. But we'll get him there, and when we do, I think him and Page will be two of our long-term defensive players, which is not something I'm going to complain about. Now, another free transfer was Hungarian international Roland Solari. He has 91 caps. He is 31 years old. He has joined us on a free for a couple of seasons at least now on his contract from Inter Milan, who released him. He also had a season on loan at Lyon last year, but he's played for Freiburg in the Bundesliga. He's had a season weirdly in Cyprus. I don't know why a Cypriot team can spend nearly £2 million, but there you go. And he's also spent some time in the Puskás Academy in Hungary's top flight. So, he's got a pretty good pedigree. He's looked actually really good in pre-season, a 7.3 rating. We've played some good sides. Don't be disheartened by that. We've played some big sides, and he's still got a good rating. He can play almost anywhere in midfield and up top. Great versatility. A player who will definitely be on the bench even when he's not starting. And I'm quite happy with him. And another big free transfer, a guy I've been after for over a year now, is John Stones. Now 34, 67 caps for England. Manchester City released him after 200 league appearances, which is nice and even. He's still got a little bit of pace left, which is always good. He's still a pretty decent defender, still tackling well, still good at passing, still decent enough in the air. Gives me a bunch of options, and frankly, he's signed for nothing. If I keep him for a year, I sell him for $4 million. That's quite good as a deal goes. He's only on a 1-year contract though, so that could be an issue, and he's on 105k a week, which is very, very painful to look at. But hopefully John Stones will be what we need to kind of secure ourselves in the league this season. And who knows, if he keeps playing well, maybe we'll give him another year. Now, a Serbian international, Volco Bermanchevich, has joined us. He's a left winger primarily, can play attacking midfield, can play up top, can play on the left-hand side of midfield. 2 caps for Serbia, and valued quite highly at 9.4 million. He has joined us for £1.9 million from Malmo in Sweden, having spent most of his career before that playing in the Serbian Super League, which is, I guess, a thing. I don't know. But stats-wise, he's quick. He gives us something special on the left-hand side. We've kind of been lacking real kind of quality on the left-hand side, with no disrespect intended to Marshall Rutty or Harvey Vale or anyone else that's played there this season, Cade Gordon. But this guy is a next level talent. He is a Premier League level talent, and I think is going to be a guy who maybe creates a few things for us, gets a few more opportunities at goal. So I'm very happy to pick him up for less than £2 million. Brendan Land has also joined us again on loan, but I do have an option to buy built into his contract. Should I want to take it, I can buy him for £3.9 million. I don't know if I will or I won't. I think this could be his last season with us. I'm not sure if he's good enough to actually be a regular Premier League player. I don't think I'm not sure he ever will be, but this is going to be his chance to prove to me that he is worth spending that money on getting permanently. We know Brendan Land. He's quick. He has a weird ability to score goals. He scores a goal every 5 games or so on average, which is pretty good. So, let's just keep an eye on him for this season, see if he keeps developing. And our final big money signing is Jan Scorshatovsky, who is a Polish international, 5 goals in 15 games for his country, aged just 22 years old, a striker who doesn't necessarily look like he is the greatest all-round striker, but apparently has some very big potential. Is a flair player, which we always like, good at passing, good at finishing, decent composure, should get a few goals. Pre-season, he's had 6 in 10, which I can't complain about at all. So he started his career off coming through Derby's youth team in the first season, quickly got into their first team, worked his way up, joined Seattle in the MLS for 8.25 million. Had a real breakout season when I first spotted him last year. 18 goals in 28, 5 in 9 in the MLS this season, which is what made me spend 12.75 million on him. I think he's going to get us a few goals. It gives us extra options alongside Lopez, McAtee, Solari, Bermanchevich up top. Parody, I think, is going to go on loan to the Championship this season. When he comes back, he will also be quite a threat up top. I think we're finally in a position for the first time in a long time where we can say we have solid strength in depth up top, and that is always good for getting us goals, which is nice. And actually, since our next player is just there in the list, we'll have a look at him too. Nashi Univar is a Turkish player, came through Ajax's academy, and has played 43 times, scoring 10 goals for Ajax as a left winger, attacking midfielder, a striker, a central, again another versatile player. I don't think he's the best player in any position, but I think he is a quality player to have on the bench that I can rely on to throw in a variety of situations. His kind of standout things are technique, are dribbling. He's good at moving the ball around, basically. He's not terribly quick. He's good at doing some tricks. Maybe he'll get the crowd on their feet. That's kind of what I'm looking for, and he is, again, cost me absolutely nothing. So, great piece of business, in my opinion, signing Nashi Univar, because we can sell him for 12 million quid, which, again, is something we always look for. And that kind of completes the regular signings for this season. But I also have arranged some transfers for the future, so we're going to go through those, and we'll talk about them more properly when they arrive. So let's go and have a look at the signings lined up for down the line, the young players. And I have signed some stupid players for the future, quite frankly. This one is a 17-year-old Serbian under-21 international called Veselin Kojic, who has come from, or will be coming from, Red Star Belgrade. We are paying 4.9 million for him, for a player that probably, according to his scouting report, has the potential to be one of the best left-backs in the world, which is the strength and depth we need going forward. And him, we should be set at left back now for the rest of this save, quite frankly, if they both develop where I think they can do. And he should do. Great determination, great teamwork skills. He's brave, he's aggressive. Get his tackling and his pace up once he gets here, and I think we are absolutely laughing. Less of an outlay is this guy, Darren Taylor, South African international with 2 caps, 19 years old. He's joining us on the 1st of July. I don't know why he's joining us so late. I don't know what's gone on there, because it feels like he's old enough to sign for us, but I can't remember what happened in the deal that made that happen. Maybe I decided to let him play another season at Sundowns before I signed him. Either way, he is looking decent. His scout report says maybe big potential, so we'll see how that goes. I think that might be understating it, because the numbers I can see look very, very good for a central midfielder of his age. And as career stats go, he's had a couple of good seasons. He's going to cost us, I think it's 525,000. It's not going to say that. I think it's 525,000 we're spending on him, which I'm not unhappy with as an outlay for a player who potentially could at least make us a big profit, if not become a big player for us. And joining us at the same time as Darren Taylor will be Pablo Dragun. He is an Argentine under-23 international right back. I have spent a lot of money on him. A lot of money. He's coming from Talleres. I think it's 5.9 million I spent. Give me a second, I'll check. It's 5 million dead. 5 million dead is what I spent on this guy. And again, his potential is possibly through the roof. I'm hoping that there are more gold stars being hidden by the white stars, but I think his potential is through the roof. He's quick. There's a lot of yellow numbers there that I like to see. I mean, his tackling and passing aren't great, but if we can get him in and we can get him kind of firing, I think I'll be quite happy if he achieves anywhere near the potential I think he does. He's probably got more potential than Glenn Gould, which we like to see, and he's got more potential than any of the other right back options in the squad. So let's hope for the best. And finally, there's a 16-year-old from Dynamo Kiev who popped up in the list of best wonder kids in the world. And then my scouts gave him an A and said sign him whatever the price. And his stats are already pretty strong for a 16-year-old. I mean, he's 2-star, which would put him as the 8th best centre-half in our squad already at 16. I've spent £29 million on Grigory Chaprinia. £29 million on a 16-year-old. Either I'm completely mental or this is the greatest transfer of all time and there is no in between. Yeah. Anyway, so that wraps up our talk about the transfers coming in. We'll have a little look just so you can see we're coming back. By the way, pre-season, lots of green numbers, wins over Leverkusen, over a bunch of Chinese teams while we were on tour. Engadani, Inter Milan, we played the usual West Country League and smashed everyone, and we beat Atalanta. So we're doing alright, and we're going to come back on Wednesday for an episode where we play Leicester City in the Premier League, the opening game of the Premier League season. Hopefully we'll get off to a flying start. But for now, I think that's time to switch back to the view of me, just me. Hi guys. And wrap it up. So thank you for watching. I have as always been chasing lamely. Don't forget, like, subscribe, comments below. Let me know what you think we're going to finish in the league this season. The prediction is 17th. Last year we finished 13th, and I have definitely strengthened this squad. So there are some food for thought, or there is some food for thought for the comments below. So like, subscribe, ring the bell, all that good stuff. And until next time, I've been chasing lamely. Thanks for watching. See you all very soon. Have a good one.